audience?
Hello.
Okay, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, different kinds of cancers, and osteoarthritis. These are all different diseases and health effects that can arise due to childhood obesity. Childhood obesity is such an issue in America because of our children of today are going to grow up to be our leaders of tomorrow. So our children today are going to be our future doctors and lawyers and teachers and things like that. So if we do not instill in them a strong, healthy lifestyle today, then this could grow to affect our country in years to come. One of the most alarming statistics that I read while researching this topic was that, and it comes from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and it said that childhood obesity has tripled in the past 30 years. So in 2008, more than 1 out of 3 children or adolescents were obese. The definition of obesity is a caloric imbalance, meaning that these children are taking in or consuming more calories than they're expending. So this can come from different causes. The 2 main ones are a lack of physical activity and a poor diet. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says that obesity is caused by lack of activity due to increased TV watching, increased video game playing, and increased use of the computer. So different technologies are taking our kids out of the outdoor area and into the indoors where they're just playing games and watching TVs. There's also different reasons for the poor diet. They report that more children are eating outside of the home rather than inside the home. So these children are eating most of their meals at fast food restaurants and also in unhealthy school cafeterias and things like that. Another reason for a poor diet is an increased amount of soda consumption and a decrease in milk consumption. So these are all different reasons that our children today have poor diets. In my speech, I'm going to discuss the immediate health effects of childhood obesity, the long-term health effects of childhood obesity, and also some steps we can take as a country to prevent and even combat childhood obesity. So some of the things that are immediate health effects of childhood obesity are an increased high level of cholesterol and also high blood pressure. As we all know, high levels of cholesterol and high blood pressure are 2 very dangerous things that can affect us later on down the road in our health. So they're starting to notice these things in young children that are obese. One of the other main reasons for detrimental health in the immediate effect is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a growing disease in our country today, and what this is a decrease of breathing while the children are sleeping. So they're not breathing as more, and this is cutting off oxygen to their brain, and it's causing them to learn less in school and have like a lack of memory and things like that. So sleep apnea is a very serious disease that these obese children are getting these days. My second point in this speech is about the long-term health effects from childhood obesity. One of the main is heart disease. This heart disease is coming from the high levels of cholesterol that these children are experiencing and the high levels of cholesterol and the high blood pressure. That's what this heart disease is coming from. Also, another very serious long-term effect of childhood obesity is type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is adult onset diabetes. So these children are not necessarily born with diabetes. They just acquire it as they grow older. So this is another very serious health defect that can arise from childhood obesity. Another thing is different kinds of cancers all over the body. So this childhood obesity can affect the body all over. and can create different kinds of cancers. And lastly, osteoarthritis. This childhood obesity can affect the bones and the joints in the body as well as you grow older. Lastly, I'm going to talk about prevention and ways that we can combat childhood obesity in our country today. Different ways that we can combat childhood obesity. I found a great website called peopleshealth.com, and this website outlines some of the things we can do to combat childhood obesity in our daily lives. The very first thing that it talks about is to obviously increase outdoor play. So giving them more time outside to run around and play is going to be one of the main things we can do to decrease childhood obesity. Also, another thing we can do is decrease the indoor time with the video games. So putting a limit on that video game time can be a major help to combating childhood obesity. And one simple thing you can do with your children is to prepare maybe a play schedule for the children, and also preparing a healthy menu for the week with your children at home. Also give them a say in this schedule and this menu so they feel like they're taking an active role in their health, in their lifestyle. Never dining in front of the TV is a big thing. If you're having family dinners around the table, you're taking longer to eat and thus getting hungrier or getting full faster because you're talking and things like that and taking longer, so you won't be taking in as many calories. Also, another big thing that our nation is doing to combat childhood obesity is school initiatives. As a student teacher these days, I see these initiatives taking place in our nation today. Actually, at my elementary school, in the cafeteria, they have cut out all soda machines. So there's no more sodas in the schools, and they get 3 choices at lunch. They can either have milk, orange juice, or water. So this is already taking soda out of their daily lives and putting in more healthier options. So the last thing you can do to combat is just make sure that these changes you're putting in these children's lives are gradual, so that they feel like they're taking a hands-on approach to their health and they're not getting overwhelmed or discouraged. So just make it gradual, and that is the last way that you can help to combat childhood obesity in our nation today. Thank you very much for listening.